Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the March 9th, 2021 Madison County Fiscal Court meeting. This is a special call meeting due to the COVID-19 pandemic. The Madison County Fiscal Court will be video conferencing the Fiscal Court meeting live on the Madison County, Kentucky Facebook page and on our local Spectrum TV channel 377 in compliance with the Office of the Attorney General's Opinion 20-05. At this time, I'd like to call this meeting to order. Clerk Barger, if you will, please call the roll.
Mr. Reynolds?
Yeah, here.
Mr. Berger?
Here.
Mr. Tudor?
Here.
Mr. Bakken?
Present.
Good, sir.
Here. At this time, I'd like to invite our magistrate of our 3rd District, John Tudor, to lead us in a word of prayer.
Let us pray, please. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for this beautiful day that you've given us. Thank you for us being able to meet freely in this country. Thank you for all the blessings that we do have. Thank you most of all for your Son, Jesus Christ.
Amen.
Lord, we pray for the flood victims in Eastern Kentucky, as well as in our community. Help them to find strength to rebuild their lives as we as Kentuckians help them. We pray that the decisions made here today will help the citizens of this great county and forgive us for our shortcomings. We give you thanks in all that we have. In Christ's name, amen.
Amen. Thanks, John. At this time, Sheriff's going to lead us in the pledge.
Please stand and face our flag. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Please.
Thank you, Sheriff. Next is approval of our meeting minutes. We actually have 2 different minutes that we need to approve today. Due with some of the weather patterns and stuff, we weren't able to get our meeting minutes for our February the 9th fiscal court meeting ready at our past meeting. So y'all had a chance to look over these. Tom, I think you saw a couple changes, so I appreciate you getting those back to us so we could get those changed. I need a motion and a second to approve the February 9th, 2021 fiscal court minutes. Tom Bakken?
Motion to approve the minutes, Judge.
Thanks, Tom. John Tudor?
I second that motion, Judge.
I have a motion and a second to approve the February 9th fiscal court meeting minutes. If there's no discussion, call the roll, please.
Mr. Reynolds?
Yes.
Mr. Berger? Mr. Tudor?
Yes.
Mr. Bakken?
Yes.
Judge Taylor?
Yes. Next are Next is the February 23rd, 2021 fiscal court minutes. I need a motion and a second to approve those. Roger?
So moved.
Paul, did I see your raise your hand? Yep.
I second the motion.
All right, I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All right, seeing none, call the roll.
Mr. Reynolds?
Yes.
Mr. Berger?
Yes.
Mr. Tudor?
Yes.
Mr. Bakken?
Yes.
Judge Taylor?
Yes. Treasurer's report will be at our 4th Tuesday meeting, so it'll be at our next meeting. I'm going to ask the court today to amend the agenda to add item number 11. It's a resolution 2021-34. It's a CSEP communications infrastructure contract. At this time, I need a motion and a second to amend the agenda for resolution 2021-34. John Tudor.
I'd like to make a motion to amend the agenda, Judge.
I have a motion to amend. Thank Tom. I saw your hand up.
I second that motion, Judge.
All right. Any discussion? Seeing none, call the roll.
Master Tudor,
Yes.
Master Bodkin,
Yes.
Master Reynolds,
Yes.
Master Barger, Judge Taylor.
Yes. All right. Thank you all. First order of business today is second reading of ordinance 2021-02. This is a land use regulation change for event venues. And we have our very own Bert Thomas on with us this morning. Good morning, Bert.
Good morning. Judge, this is the second reading, like you said, so I'll just hit the highlights of this second reading. Remind everybody that this is ordinance number 2021-02. And it's an ordinance of Madison County Fiscal Court, Kentucky, amending ordinance number 00-02, which are the Madison County Planning and Zoning regulations regarding uses allowed. You mentioned event venues, wedding barns, that kind of thing. Sometimes people call them. I will give you the definition that's actually in the ordinance. It's a building or structure, permanent or temporarily constructed for a specific event, utilized for commercial purposes, including but not limited to weddings, events, and social gatherings. Such events may differ from the traditionally recognized use of said structure and may or may not involve the sale or consumption of food and beverages, whether produced on the premises or not. The Madison County Planning Commission did have a public hearing on Tuesday, February 16th. Had a good discussion about this. They believe it is a desirable change to the regs to allow this as a permitted conditional use. Let me make sure I word that right. With a proper site development plan. So this just cleans up our regs a little bit, like I mentioned at the last meeting. It specifically mentions this as an approved conditional use. So people will be able to obtain these permits to have these commercial events, but they will still have to comply with any restrictions or conditions that are placed on them by the Board of Adjustments. And this is in agriculture zones.
All right. Thank you for the update, Bert. At this time, I need a motion and a second to approve the second reading of ordinance 2021-02, land use regulation change for event venues. Tom Bodkin.
Motion to approve ordinance 2021-02 and the amendment to the ordinance 00-02, Judge.
Thank you. Do I have a second? John Tudor?
Second that motion, Judge.
Judge, I forgot to mention, I wanted to let everybody know that it was a unanimous motion from the Planning Commission. We didn't have any negative comments or anything at the public hearing.
Yep. Thank you. And we had no comments either from advertising this ordinance in the paper or any kind of emails either. So do we have any discussion? Is there any questions from the court members? I think we had some pretty good discussion last time at the first reading. So, all right, seeing none, we do have a motion and a second. So call the roll, Clerk Barger.
Master Bodkin,
Yes.
Master Reynolds,
Yes.
Master Barger,
Yes.
Master Tudor,
Yes.
Judge Taylor.
Yes.
Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, Bert. Next, resolution 2021-25. This is the BGAD Fire Department Mutual Aid Agreement. We have Chief Gray. Good morning, Tim.
Good morning.
It's good to see you, buddy.
Resolution 2021-25, a resolution authorizing signature of a memorandum of agreement for mutual aid fire service between Madison County Fiscal Court and Bluegrass Army Depot, or BGAD. Whereas each party has the power, control, and responsibility to provide fire service and rescue services within their respective boundaries. And whereas the Madison County Fire Department, County, and the Bluegrass Army Depot, BGAD Fire Department, wish to secure for each of the benefits of mutual aid and fire prevention, the protection of life and property from fire and firefighting. And whereas the parties entering into this agreement agree to provide the following services if it is available by the providing agency: emergency services, including basic medical support, basic and advanced life support, hazardous material containment and confinement, and special rescue events, including vehicular and water mishaps, and trench, building, and confined space extractions. And whereas the rendering of assistance under the terms of this agreement shall not be mandatory, but the party receiving the request for assistance should immediately be informed the requesting department if for any reason assistance cannot be rendered. Now therefore it be resolved that the fiscal court does hereby approve to enter into this agreement and authorize the judge executive to execute the same on behalf of the county.
Thanks, Chief Gray. Do I have a motion and a second to approve Resolution 2021-25? John Tudor.
Judge, I'd like to make a motion to approve Resolution 2021-25, the Big Ed agreement.
Thank you, Paul Reynolds.
I second that motion.
Thank you all. Do we have any discussion? John Tudor.
Judge, I've always said that, we have to work together in these situations, and it's, I think in most cases, most organizations would work together to help each other, but it's always good to have it down in writing, and it's a mutual agreement that we're going to work together no matter what to help in these disasters and needed areas. So I think it's a good agreement. Thank you, Tim.
Thanks, John. Anyone else? Yeah, I really appreciate the relationship that we have with our Big Ed team. Tim, I know we work pretty close together, and we help them. They help us. So
Yeah, they help us quite a bit. They come off base pretty regular, and we do go on base and help them quite a bit also. So it works.
and there's some training too that y'all do together. Is that correct too?
Yeah, we do some live fire, we do driver's training, we do numerous types throughout the year with one another.
Yeah.
It's same as we do Richmond and the other volunteer departments around.
Yeah, it's good. All right. Anyone else? We do have a motion and a second. Seeing no more discussion, call the roll, please.
Master Reynolds,
Yes.
Master Barger,
Yes.
Master Tudor,
Yes.
Master Biken,
Yes.
Judge Taylor.
Yes.
Thank you all.
Thank you, Chief. Next, Resolution 2021-26 is the Madison County Nuisance Board appointment. A resolution for the appointment of the Madison County Fiscal Court to the Madison County Nuisance Board, whereas the Madison County Fiscal Court is responsible for the appointment of Madison County Nuisance Board members, and whereas a vacancy to the Madison County Nuisance Board is open, whereas the Fiscal Court has found Dr. Paula Mianchi as fit for the position as board member of the Madison County Nuisance Board. Now therefore be it resolved that the Fiscal Court does hereby approve Dr. Paula Mianchi as a Madison County Nuisance Board member. Do I have a motion and a second to approve Resolution 2021-26? Roger.
So moved.
John Tudor. I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All right, seeing none, call the roll, please.
Master Barger,
Yes.
Master Tudor, Master Biken,
Yes.
Master Reynolds,
Yes.
Judge Taylor.
Yes. Next is Resolution 2021-27. This is another nuisance board appointment, whereas the Madison County Fiscal Court is responsible for the appointment of Madison County Nuisance Board members, whereas a vacancy to the Madison County Nuisance Board is open, whereas the Madison County Fiscal Court has found Corey Erdman is fit for the position as board member of the Madison County Nuisance Board. Now therefore be it resolved that the Fiscal Court does hereby approve Corey Erdman as a Madison County Nuisance Board member. I need a motion, a second, to approve Resolution 2021-27. Roger.
Make a motion to approve.
Do I have a second? Tom Biken?
Second that, Judge.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Tom?
Just want to make a comment, Judge. Just so that the public knows, that board the nuisance board is made up of those two members and the magistrate from whichever district that's from, that a complaint might be filed from.
Yep, that is correct. And luckily we don't have to use this board very often, but when we do, it is there. So, and both of these have been serving as these board members for some time now. So this is a reappointment. Both of these are reappointments. John Tudor.
Judge, it's a shame we have to have a nuisance board, but sometimes people just don't really take care of their property, and it's an eyesore and different situations that sometimes we have to have a little help on getting cleaned up and our solid waste coordinator's been working with me on some trash in my district, and we're getting that all cleaned up with the use of a loaner truck, and we give them several days to get that cleaned up. And it was a legitimate excuse. The reason it wasn't cleaned up, the man of the household had passed away, and so everybody has different situations. So we're willing to work with you, but if something gets out of control and it's looking pretty rough, trashed up, give us a call and we'll try to help you and work with you, get the area cleaned up. So the nuisance board is very beneficial in working with these people and trying to make our community look better, Judge. So I appreciate it.
Thank you. Anyone else? Seeing none, call the roll, please.
Master Tudor,
Yes.
Master Botkin,
Yes.
Master Reynolds,
Yes.
Master Barger,
Yes.
Judge Taylor.
Yes. Next is Resolution 2021-28. This is a Madison County Ethics Board appointment. A resolution for the appointment of the Madison County Fiscal Court to the Madison County Ethics Board, whereas the Madison County Fiscal Court is responsible for the appointment of Madison County Ethics Board members, whereas a vacancy for the Madison County Ethics Board is open, and whereas the Madison County Fiscal Court has found Mary Lois Kearns is fit for the position as board member of the Madison County Ethics Board. Now therefore be it resolved that the Fiscal Court does hereby approve Mary Lois Kearns as a Madison County Ethics Board member. Do I have a motion and a second to approve Resolution 2021-28? Roger?
So moved.
Do I have a second? Paul Reynolds? Have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion?
Just a reappointment, Judge.
It is.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. This is actually District 2's appointment. You know how we set this up originally
Yes,
when
sir.
we all came into office? Yeah. Any other discussion? Seeing none, call the roll.
Master Botkin, Master Reynolds,
Yeah.
Master Barger,
Yes.
Master Tudor,
Yes.
Judge Taylor.
Yes. Next is another Ethics Board appointment. This is Resolution 2021-29. Whereas the Madison County Fiscal Court is responsible for the appointment of Madison County Ethics Board members, and whereas a vacancy for the Madison County Ethics Board is open, and whereas the Madison County Fiscal Court has found Ashley Combs Young is fit for the position as board member of the Madison County Ethics Board. Now therefore be it resolved that the Fiscal Court does hereby approve Ashley Combs Young as a Madison County Ethics Board member. Do I have a motion and a second to approve Resolution 2021-29? Paul Reynolds?
I'll make a motion to accept 2021-29.
Thanks, Paul. Tom?
Second that, Judge.
Thank you, Tom. Any discussion? I do want to acknowledge Chandler Combs. Chandler passed away a few weeks back, and he had served for this community. He was a community leader. He served on Planning Commission for a long time. He served on our Ethics Board. Paul, I think you did a wonderful job choosing his replacement in his granddaughter. Ashley is one of his granddaughters, and I can't think of a better person to fill those shoes. And the sheriff just reminded me that Chandler also served on the elections board. So, we're going to be, he's going to be very, very missed, not only by his family, his wonderful wife, but also his friends in this community. So, good job, Paul. Any other discussion? Seeing none, call the roll, please.
Master Reynolds,
Yes.
Master Barger,
Yes.
Master Tudor,
Yes.
Master Botkin,
Yes.
Judge Taylor.
Yes. Next is Resolution 2021-30, a resolution for the appointment of the Madison County Fiscal Court to the Madison County Utilities Board. Whereas the Madison County Fiscal Court is responsible for the appointment of Madison County Utilities Board members, whereas the current term for John Thomas is set to expire March 30th, 2021, Whereas John Thomas has proven his capability in serving as Madison County Utilities Board member and is willing to continue serving in this capacity. Whereas the Madison County Fiscal Court has found John Thomas as fit for the position as a board member of the Madison County Utilities Board. Now therefore be it resolved that the Fiscal Court does hereby approve John Thomas as a Madison County Utilities Board member. This time I need a motion and a second to approve Resolution 2021-30. John Tudor.
Judge, I'd like to approve Resolution 2021-30, the appointment of John Thomas to the Utility Board.
Thanks, John. Roger.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, call the roll, please.
Master Barger,
Yes.
Master Tudor,
Yes.
Master Buchan,
Yes.
Master Reynolds,
Yes.
Judge Taylor.
Yes. Next, Resolution 2021-31, a resolution for the appointment of the Madison County Fiscal Court to the Madison County EMS Board. Whereas the Madison County Fiscal Court is responsible for the appointment of Madison County EMS Board members, and whereas the current term for Jill Cornelison is set to expire April 1st, 2021, whereas Jill Cornelison has proven her capability in serving as a Madison County EMS Board member and is willing to continue serving in this capacity, and whereas the Madison County Fiscal Court has found Jill Cornelison, as fit for the position as board member of the Madison County EMS Board. Now therefore be it resolved that the Fiscal Court does hereby approve Jill Cornelison as a Madison County EMS Board member. Do I have a motion and a second? Roger.
Make a motion to approve Resolution 2021-31 for Jill Cornelison appointment.
Thanks, Roger. John?
I'll second that motion, Judge.
I have a motion and a second. Do we have any discussion? All right, seeing none, call the roll, please.
Master Tudor,
Yes.
Master Buchan,
Yes.
Master Reynolds,
Yes.
Master Barger,
Yes.
Judge Taylor.
Yes. Next, Resolution 2021-32. This is CSEP Virtual Desktop Enhancement Bid Award. Good morning, Dustin. Dustin, your sound's not working. It doesn't show you're muted on my side, but I can't hear you. Yeah. All right, you're muted now, Dustin. Hit your phone and unmute. There you go. Now let's see if we can hear you.
How about now?
We got you, buddy.
All right. Having computer challenges this morning. All right. So Resolution 2021-32, a resolution approving bid awards for CSEP virtual desktop software and virtual desktop hardware. Whereas the Madison County CSEP program requires an upgrade to its existing virtual desktop hardware and software. And whereas the Madison County Fiscal Court is required to approve of all bids in accordance with the administration code. And whereas the Madison County Fiscal Court placed this project out for bid and received 2 bids. And whereas the bids were properly posted and have been opened and reviewed. And whereas one company bid the software only and the other company bid everything. And whereas the bids being written in a manner allowed the bids to be awarded to multiple companies. And whereas the Madison County CSEP program team has reviewed the bids and has concluded awarding 13 layers with the virtual desktop software and awarding SHI with the virtual desktop hardware would be in the best interest of Madison County, Kentucky. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Fiscal Court does hereby approve this resolution and authorizes the judge executive to execute the same on behalf of the county.
Thank you, Dustin. Do I have a motion and a second to approve Resolution 2021-32? Paul Reynolds.
I make a motion to accept Resolution 2021-32.
Thanks, Paul. Roger,
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Do we have any discussion? Tom?
Dustin, I know you've done your homework on this, but I was just curious, is this the software for this, is this a canned software or is this a custom package?
I believe it's a custom package.
Can.
Sorry, I'm going to let Chris jump on and probably provide the better information.
Yeah.
than that.
Do you want to come over here?
With the IT department, they're the ones that did the in-depth review from the technical side of things. So he's probably better to answer that.
Yeah, I've got, thanks, Dustin. I've got Chris actually in here with me, and so he's just going to talk. You all should be able to hear him.
Hey, Tom, that's actually the same software the county's already running. So we moved to it probably 4 months ago, and they're just now catching up to be on the same platform that we are. So it's technically a canned software that provides virtual desktop infrastructure. They actually are the only ones that pretty much can redistribute that software in the area. That's why 13 Layers was the one that sold it. SHI had a bid on it, but it was $20 per user license more expensive, and they're buying 90. So it's a pretty good cost difference there.
So that is the 13 Layers is the same vendor that the county's already using?
Yes, and the product's actually called LeoStream.
Okay, that's fine. I was just curious because a lot of times you get into are we using the same hardware? Is the county using the same hardware vendor?
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right, good. I've seen a lot of times when you use mixed vendors for hardware and software that you get into, when you get to troubleshooting, you get into a lot of, well, that's hardware. No, that's the software. Where if it's all under one vendor, then you've got one company dealing with all the issues.
Yeah, they're pretty much agnostic. The LeoStream software will run on any hardware platform, and what we're buying from SHI is the exact matching equipment that we use in the county.
All right, good. Thank you.
Thanks, Tom. Anybody else? All right, seeing none. We do have a motion and a second for resolution 2021-32. Call the roll, please.
Master Buchan,
Yes.
Master Reynolds,
Yes.
Master Barger,
Yes.
Master Tudor,
Yes.
Judge Taylor.
Yes. Thank you, Dustin.
Thank you all.
Next is resolution 2021-33, a resolution to award a fiscal year 2020-2021 one-time public service incentive adjustment for part-time employees. Whereas the Madison County Coroner's Office and part-time employees of the Madison County Fiscal Court and part-time employees of the Madison County Sheriff's Office were inadvertently omitted from resolution 2021-23. And whereas the Madison County Fiscal Court voted to reassess salary adjustments at a later date in resolution 20-76. And whereas the Kentucky Constitution affords counties the ability to provide a one-time public service incentive for fiscal court employees. And whereas the Madison County Fiscal Court wishes to award the Madison County Coroner, Madison County Fiscal Court, and Madison County Sheriff's Office staff who are current part-time non-elected staff employed on or before July 31st, 2020 with a $500 one-time public service incentive, and staff employed from August 1st, 2020 to December 31st, 2020 with a $250 one-time public service incentive to be paid out in the second payroll in March 2021. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the fiscal court does hereby approve this resolution and authorizes the judge executive to execute same on behalf of the county. Do I have a motion and a second to approve resolution 2021-33? John Tudor.
Judge, I'd like to make a motion to approve resolution 2021-33.
Thank you. Do I have a second? Paul?
I second that motion.
All right. I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? John Tudor.
Judge, I think this clears up some individuals that was omitted in their first resolution. So I'm glad to see that we are trying to get everybody involved.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thanks, John. Tom?
Yeah, I was just going to say this was just a clearing up an oversight that we'd made earlier, and so I'm glad we were able to fix this, Judge.
Yep. Agree. Anyone else? Call the roll.
Master Reynolds,
Yes.
Master Barger,
Yes.
Master Tudor,
Yes.
Master Buchan,
Yes.
Judge Taylor.
Yes. Next is Resolution 2021-34. This is the resolution that we amended the agenda for. Resolution 2021-34, CSEP Communications Infrastructure Contract. Dustin?
Yes. Good morning again. Resolution 2021-34, resolution approving the sole source purchase of equipment and products for the deployment of communications infrastructure. Whereas the Madison County CSEP program is in need of communication infrastructure between many of its communication towers for reliable connectivity. And whereas the Madison County CSEP program identified a sole source solution that will provide the necessary tools and materials to install communications infrastructure. And whereas the Madison County CSEP program has worked with the sole source provider Mcrae to identify the necessary tools and materials needed to install between two communications towers. And whereas the Madison County CSEP program has received costing from Mcrae Group Limited for 2 initial deployments, and after review by the communications team, we request the court's approval to sign a sole source contract with Mcrae Group Limited for the purchase of the necessary materials and training, which is attached hereto in this resolution. Now therefore it be resolved, the fiscal court has hereby approved the resolution and authorizes the judge executive to execute the same on behalf of the county.
Thank you, Dustin. Do I have a motion and a second to approve Resolution 2021-34? John Tudor?
Judge, I'd like to make a motion to approve Resolution 2021-34, the CSEP Communication Infrastructure Contract.
Thanks, John. Roger?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Do we have any discussion? Tom?
Dustin, I heard you say that there's training involved in that. Well, what would that be?
So the installation training, it can be something that we can actually install ourselves, or, can work with another party to do the installation. So that's what the training is going to be for.
All right. Thank you, Dustin. Thank you, Tom. Anyone else? All right, seeing none, call the roll, please.
Mr. Barger,
Yes.
Mr. Tudor,
Yes.
Mr. Buchan,
Yes.
Mr. Reynolds,
Yes.
Judge Taylor.
Yes.
Thank you all.
Thank you, Dustin.
Thanks, Dustin.
Next on the agenda is personnel. This is on the golf course. I think we have it's seasonal time again, isn't it, Gary?
Yes, it is. Good morning, Judge. Good morning, everyone. I'd like to recommend the following people for seasonal employees, just so everyone knows, all of these are returning seasonal employees. The first one is Carl Mcrae as a seasonal outside cart attendant, salary of $7.78 an hour, starting March 10th, 2021.
We've got a lot of these. I think we normally have to, Brooke, you might have to help me with this. I think we normally need to do them individually, don't we?
Yeah, you have to do each one as an individual.
Yeah, thank you. I was trying to speed up the court because there's several of them, but thank you for keeping me in line, Brooke. I need a motion to approve Carl Mcrae as a seasonal employee at the golf course. Tom Bakken?
Motion to approve the hire of Carl McCoy as a seasonal outside cart attendant, Judge, at $7.78 an hour, beginning on 3/10/21.
Thanks, Tom. Roger?
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, call the roll, please.
Mr. Tudor,
Yes.
Mr. Buchan,
Yes.
Mr. Reynolds,
Yes.
Mr. Barger,
Yes.
Judge Taylor.
Yes.
All right, the next one is Caswell Patton, seasonal golf shop attendant at $8 an hour, start date March 10th, 2021.
Thank you, Gary. Do I have a motion and a second as presented? John Tudor?
Judge, I'd like to make a motion to hire Caswell Patton for the golf course attendant.
At $8 an hour, starting on March 10th.
Okay.
Yep. Thank you. Do I have a second? Roger?
Second.
All right, a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, call the roll.
Master Botkin,
Yes.
Master Reynolds,
Yes.
Master Barger,
Yes.
Master Tudor,
Yes.
Judge Taylor.
Yes.
Okay, next would be Daniel Wood, seasonal outside cart attendant, $7.78 an hour, March 10th, 2021.
All right, thank you, Gary. Do I have a motion and a second as presented? Roger?
Make a motion to hire Daniel Wood at $7.78 an hour.
All right, starting on March the 10th, Tom Botkin.
Second that, Judge.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, call the roll.
Master Reynolds,
Yes.
Master Barger,
Yes.
Master Tudor,
Yes.
Master Botkin,
Yes.
Judge Taylor.
Yes.
Alrighty, next on the list, David Hall, seasonal outside cart attendant, $8.30 an hour, March 10th, 2021.
All right, do I have a motion and a second to hire David Hall? John Tudor.
Judge, I'd like to make a motion to hire David Hall for golf course outside attendant for $8.30 an hour, starting on March 10th.
Thanks, John. Paul Reynolds. All right, we do have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, call the roll.
Master Barger,
Yes.
Master Tudor,
Yes.
Master Botkin,
Yes.
Master Reynolds,
Yes.
Judge Taylor.
Kenny, you had a little bit of a glitch there, a little hesitation. So did you call everybody?
Yep.
Okay.
I'll do.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I couldn't hear it. It was a little mumbled. All right. Thank you. Go ahead, Gary.
Okay, getting close. Next is Donnie Helton, seasonal outside cart attendant, $7.50 an hour, start date of March 10th, 2021.
All right. Tom Botkin, do I have a motion? Hey, Tom, you're muted.
We'll get this right one of these days, Judge. We get back face to face. I'll won't have to mute anymore, will we?
Hey, y'all scared me to death. We get back in person. I see these hands going up.
I'm going to make a motion to hire Donnie Helton as a seasonal outside golf attendant at $7.50 an hour beginning on 3/10/21, Judge.
Thank you. John Tudor.
Second that motion, Judge.
I have a motion second. Any discussion? All right, call the roll.
Master Tudor,
Yes.
Master Botkin,
Yes.
Master Reynolds,
Yes.
Master Barger,
Yes.
Judge Taylor.
Yes.
Okay, we're in the home stretch. Next is James Collins, seasonal outside cart attendant, $7.78 an hour, start date of March 10th, 2021.
Roger.
Make a motion to hire James Collins, outside attendant, $7.78 an hour.
All right. Do I have a second? Paul Reynolds. Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Call the roll.
Master Botkin,
Yes.
Master Reynolds,
Yes.
Master Barger,
Yes.
Master Tudor,
Yes.
Judge Taylor.
Yes.
Alrighty, and last but not least, Timothy Freeman, seasonal outside cart attendant, starting at $7.78 an hour, March 10th, 2021.
Do I have a motion and a second to approve Timothy Freeman? John Tudor.
Judge, I'd like to make a motion to approve the hiring of Timothy Freeman, $7.78 an hour, starting on March 10th.
All right, thank you. Roger,
Second.
have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, call the roll.
Mr. Reynolds,
Yes.
Mr. Barger,
Yes.
Mr. Tudor,
Yes.
Mr. Buchan,
Yes.
Ms. Taylor.
Yes.
Alrighty, thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Gary.
Thanks, Gary. Appreciate it. Hey, Gary, this might be a good opportunity to maybe talk a little bit about where we are on our staffing of our seasonal employees at the golf course.
Sure, we still need one more golf shop attendant. As far as the ground crew, we're in need of at least 4 to 6. At this point, we do not have anyone returning from last season. So we just have our two full-time employees. So if anyone knows anyone who would like to work in the grounds crew, now's the time.
Yeah. Thank you. I thought it'd be good to mention that. Anybody that maybe is watching our fiscal court meeting.
All right, thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. Next is an executive session. I would like to entertain a motion to go into executive session to discuss a personnel matter. This executive session is allowable under KRS 61.810, exceptions to open meetings, section 1. All meetings of a quorum of the members of any public agency at which any public business is discussed or at which any action is taken by the agency shall be public meetings open to the public at all times, except for the following: subsection F, discussions or hearings which might lead to the appointment, discipline, or dismissal of an individual employee, member, or student without restricting that employee's, members, or student's right to a public hearing if requested. This exception shall not be interrupted to permit discussion of general personnel matters in secret. I would like to ask that our IT team mute all Zoom lines and ask magistrates to call in on the provided conference call line. So at this time, we'll call into our call-in conference line. I need a motion in a second. Roger, is that why you had your hand up?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep. So moved.
John Tudor? We'll have a motion in a second. Call the roll, please.
Mr. Barger,
Yes.
Mr. Tudor, Mr. Buchan,
Yes.
Mr. Reynolds,
Yes.
Ms. Taylor.
Yes. All right, I stopped video. I don't know the call-in number. I don't have it on here. Oh,
Still on.
yeah, I got it. Thanks, Roger.
Good. Thanks, buddy. I'll call you.
All right, thanks everyone for your patience. At this time, we do have a motion by Roger Barger, Kenny, to come out of executive session, and we have a second by Tom Bakken. Please call the roll.
Master Tudor,
Yes.
Master Bakken,
Yes.
Master Reynolds,
Yes.
Master Barger,
Yes.
Judge Taylor.
Yes. Do I have a motion and a second for the personnel matter at hand? John Tudor?
Judge, I'd like to make a motion to suspend John Walton, a CSEF employee, for 3 days without pay, starting March 9th, the 12th, and the 15th.
Okay, so I have a motion. Do I have a second? Roger?
Make a motion to have a second.
All right. I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, call the roll, please.
Master Bakken,
Yes.
Master Reynolds,
Yes.
Master Barger,
Yes.
Master Tudor,
Yes.
Judge Taylor.
Yes. Next is the judge's report. I do have a few things on my judge's report today. First and foremost, I want to, Tom Bakken.
Sorry, Judge. Are we going over the sheriff's cruiser?
No, it's in the claims and transfers. We added it to the claims and transfers.
Okay, yes, sir.
Yeah. Thank you. I want to acknowledge one of our departments today, just for all their work. Man, always dropping what they do to jump in and help out. And that's our IT department. That's Chris, Ryan, Jonathan, Morris, and Megan.
Amen.
Man, they're always keeping our county offices forward facing to the public, especially during COVID-19, during this global pandemic. They've created an internal HR platform for electronic employee files that have allowed our HR functions to be more efficient in saving time, which in turn saves money. I think Colleen, I think Tom and John, you all were up here yesterday. I think Colleen got to show you all that actually yesterday, I think. Man, within a couple days with the storm debris and us having the opportunity to get FEMA reimbursement for all the cleanup, they created a winter storm debris removal program platform, which made it a lot smoother and easier for our road department staff that's doing the cleanup to be able to follow all the FEMA guidelines on the paperwork and on pictures and timelines. They've streamlined the occupational tax and business license process to make it easier for constituents and business owners. They are a small team, but a very mighty one. And I'm really appreciative of what all they do. But a lot of times they're behind the scenes, they're doing these things. And our citizens and our employees, they just have it. They just have this technology, and it's been able to be used. It's making us a lot more efficient. And not only for fiscal court, but they do this for the sheriff's office. They do this for Clerk Barger. They do stuff for Jenny. They're always helping, county electeds, county employees. It doesn't really matter the department, the jail, the court system. And I think sometimes they don't get recognized enough. And with what all they've been doing, I just thought that it was good for us to acknowledge them and the work they do. Because, man, I mean, we are far beyond some of our other sister and brother counties in this Commonwealth. And I think sometimes we might take for granted, we don't realize how lucky that we are to have such an amazing IT team. So, man, I think it's appropriate if we just give them a little round of applause. I know it's probably going to seem odd on Zoom, but I think it's very appropriate. So, Chris, and he's sitting across from me. I didn't really plan that, but I should have. We've been doing this for almost a year now in Zoom. But Chris, thank you for your work. Thank you for your team. Please pass this along to them. I hope maybe some of them are watching today, but we couldn't do what we do without you. Yep. Next is our tree debris removal program is up and running, and man, are people utilizing it. I think Scott gave me some stats. Go ahead, and do you have some stats, Chris?
503 pickups already.
503 pickups already is what we've already picked up. What's already scheduled. 503 pickups have already scheduled. I think our round one, I think we're actually into round two now, right? We're in round three now.
180 votes for the first and second.
So we're really appreciative that we can provide this. Really appreciative. I mean, we're glad that our citizens are utilizing this. This program is for tree debris only, and we will run through April the 29th. There will not be any debris drop-off location, so remember that. We will come and pick them up curbside. Please make sure it's not in an area around a mailbox or any obstructions, because we cannot get off of our county right-of-ways. We can't be on private property picking this up, so make sure that you do line the curb with the debris. Due to the heavy volume of persons requesting this service, the first round for pickup is completely booked. It looks like the second round now is completely booked from when I did my judge's report. Please register as soon as possible. And you can register online, or you can call our solid waste department at our road department at any time and schedule that appointment. I do want to make an announcement. It is an honor to serve as CAECO president. Maybe not everybody knows that, but this year I am our Kentucky Association of Counties state president. And every year the state president gets a scholarship awarded to a high school senior that's in the president's county. So this year, Madison County we will get to award a Madison County senior with a scholarship. I decided to actually split it up and do 2 scholarships. We're doing it's a total of 2 $4,000 scholarships to two seniors from our 4 local high schools. That's Berea Community, Madison Southern High School, Madison Central High School, and Model Laboratory High School. That will be basically $1,000 per year of scholarship to 2 different individuals. And they do have to attend a state school, state college, or a trade school. And I'm kind of going off script, so I think I've announced all this. Madison County students can apply for this presidential scholarship until April the 2nd, 2021. For more information, contact Susan Riddle, CAECO Communications Manager, at susan.riddle@caeco.org. Again, that is susan.riddle, susan.riddell@caeco.org. Or you can speak to your high school counselor at any of those 4 schools. They are all aware of it as well. So I can't wait to see who gets the 2 scholarships. I do not have any choice in who gets them. There's actually a committee made up of elected officials across the Commonwealth that will actually choose who actually gets the scholarships. But it is exciting to serve in that capacity and fight for things in Madison County. And this is just a way that we can give back to our community through CAECO. We have entered this Kentucky spring fire season, which means there's to be no outside burning before 6 p.m. until April the 30th. If you have any questions regarding this policy, please contact the Kentucky Division of Forestry. There is still time to fill out the Madison County Comprehensive Plan Survey. It can be found at the Madison County KY.US website. Just scroll down toward the bottom of the page and click on the link. It takes less than 10 minutes to fill out this survey. This will help our steering committee in deciding sort of the vision of our county over the next several years. Also be mindful of our road department workers that will be picking up storm debris It's not always so bad in our subdivisions, but we do get on some of our narrow county roads and it can be a little bit more dangerous. So just be mindful that our road department will be out picking up those debris. Just slow down a little bit in blind curves or when you're coming up over a hill, just be mindful that that's going on. Daylight savings time begins Sunday, March 14th at 2 a.m. Be sure to turn back your clocks 1 hour before you go to bed on Saturday, March 13th. And that's all I have today in the judge's report. Comments from magistrates. I'm just going to start at the top of the screen, and that's Tom Bakken.
Hey, Judge, I just wanted to go back on something you said there just a little bit because you made that sound way too simple. And that was the patting on the back of our IT team. Those personnel files, when you're talking about over 200 plus employees and the amount of paper that's involved in that when going back and searching for something in a file for a million different reasons that you may need to do something, and then complicate all that with COVID and, things not being able to get here and get there and just taking a while to create and to scan and to turn all that into electronic media where it can be searched and brought up at the blink of an eye by our HR people is just amazing. We're talking about saving hundreds, if not thousands of hours of man time in filing and pulling. And I mean, there's just a ton of work in there. And John and I did get the opportunity to see that yesterday, and that was just amazing. And so we just want to just thank them again because that is really a super time saver for our HR people and other folks that will allow them to be more productive in some other areas. So Chris, your staff, we thank you all very much for that. It's just, you can't say enough about that. Just getting that into the 21st or 22nd century, whichever one we're working on now, just fantastic. So that, we appreciate that. And also to allude to another part of that you said, but the amount of man hours that are associated in calculating what that the equipment and reimbursement is to FEMA. Mm-hmm. Just hundreds of hours in an event like this. And so, they've just taken that and brought that down and to just a matter of a few clickable buttons. And that is just fantastic. The tree service pickup numbers, I was driving around the other day. It looks like that's going pretty good. I still see a lot of folks that need picking up. I still see some areas where I don't think that people know about it yet, even though I know the word is getting out there pretty good. But if you're a neighbor in a subdivision or something, or one of your neighbors out in the county and you know about it, would you just please to tell your neighbors about it and make sure everybody knows about it. And we want to try to get as much of that picked up as we can. For you, it's just a good service for you, and it helps the county. And I think that number for solid waste, Judge, is 624-4709. Is that correct?
Yes. So
you can call 624-4709 and get that scheduled before we run out and fill up all of our spots for that. And should anybody need me, Judge, they can reach me at 200-9765.
Thanks, Tom. Paul Reynolds.
I've noticed driving around that the storm, the roads in bad shape. We've got a lot of potholes and stuff. So I hope everybody's patient as we work to get those filled up. That's all.
Yeah, thanks, Paul. Thanks for that reminder. It is, I do hope people are patient because we do have quite a bit of mess all around. So we just the road department's taking one day at a time and trying to accomplish everything we need to accomplish. So. But I do want everyone also to be thankful because we could have it a whole lot worse. We could be an Estill or a Powell or a Owsley or a Lee, and we didn't get hit quite as hard, but be thankful for that. Next, we have John Tudor.
Hey, Judge, thank you. You and Thomas mentioned the tree pickup. I just want to urge everybody to please call in and get on the list so you don't get left out. And we'll get trees.
Or go online.
Or go online, absolutely. Yep. We used quite a bit of salt during the ice and snowstorm, and I think our bins are being replenished with that. I don't know the dollars amount on how much we used during the ice storm, but it's quite a bit. But hopefully we're through with that for this year, or for this season anyway. And we got through that, and we got through the flooding. We had some damage locally, but just remember our neighbors to the east. Estill County took some severe flooding, probably the worst they've had in 100 years. And one of our new neighbors to our county, Jonathan Webb at App Harvest, hosted a fundraiser last night for individuals in businesses in Eastern Kentucky. And I watched the telethon, and they raised $1.4 million last night to help individuals in Eastern Kentucky. And I just glad to have a neighbor in Madison County like App Harvest. And so you can still call in to App Harvest or go on their website at Appalachian Rise is a website, and donate to that fund. So they still need a lot of help. If you can get on there and help them anyway, it'd be very much appreciated. That's all I got, Judge.
Thanks, John. Roger.
Well, everybody's pretty much covered a big area of everything that's been going on, but I'm real appreciative of the IT department, especially a guy like me that's not computer savvy at all. I mean, they've helped me out a lot of times. And if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be on there right now, but they do a great job. All the water board, ambulance service, and all of them talks about how good they are and the help that they give those different entities. And they've done it from day one. But I just want to thank all the departments. I think our complete workforce has really done a fine job with the times that we're in and what they've had to adjust and go to make it happen. But they've all done it. I appreciate every one of them. We don't get to see them as often as we used to because it's not good to be around them as you know, because of the epidemic. But I appreciate every one of them. But I want to give a shout out to the road department. They've gone through some tough times there and done it the best that they could. And of course, I know some of them thought we was actually out of salt. I went down to the bins one time and we got low enough that it didn't look like we could load all of our trucks and have any left. But by luck, we got salt back in, so we really never was out. So, but I just appreciate all the different departments. They don't get the praise that they deserve. A lot of them do, but I just appreciate them all. That's all I got.
Yeah, thanks, Raj. I think it's also important as we're talking about IT that, you know, with what we've invested in as a county, the decisions that all of us have made as a fiscal court, you know, we never lost one work day. I think that's always important to remember. We never lost one work day when it came to COVID, when we had to switch from being in person to virtual. So our citizens didn't lose any closed days of business when all this happened. So I know there was other government entities that could not say that. And so it's another reason to acknowledge them and the work that they do. Kenny, do you have anything today?
No, sir.
All right. Brooke?
I don't have anything to add, Judge.
Good. Thank you, Sheriff.
Yes, I'd just like to bring to the court's attention and brag on our staff during the weather conditions, snow and ice and floods that our deputies were out delivering medication, taking our medical people back and forth to make sure they got to work. We would meet the Lexington agencies and deliver them to the people that were working in Lexington and taking them back home during these times. You know, I think it just speaks well of our county government. I think it speaks well of the dedication and loyalty that our sheriff's office provides. And, you know, I'm just proud of our people, the way they stepped up through this weather and the dedication that they bring to Madison County. And that's all I want to say.
Thank you, Sheriff. I appreciate it. You know, that's another thing that sometimes doesn't get noticed is through our emergency management agency and our sheriff's department and our first responders. they are a lot of times doing those things and providing transports so that our healthcare workers and people that doesn't matter what a flood does or doesn't matter what a ice storm or snowstorm does, they still have to get there to provide service and health care to individuals and citizens. So thank you for your service, Sheriff, and what your department means to our community. Comments from department heads. Anybody have anything today? Looks like Chief's getting on.
I just want to say, Judge, on the burn ban, it goes through April the 30th. And you can burn anytime, day or night, but if you're within 150 feet of woods or structures, it's only between 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. And we advise right now, even though we had 5 inches of rain and over the last weekend, we're dry. We've been out on about 7 or 8 grass fires yesterday. So take that heat and burn after 6 p.m., please, and call before you burn is all we wanted to just try to save us a little trouble.
Yeah. Thank you, Chief. Hey, Chief, why don't you, can you explain that a little bit to citizens about calling in a control burn, just to bring a little bit more awareness to that?
Anytime you want to have a control burn, if you'll call 911's emergency number, of course, it's 859-624-4776, and they'll take down your name and information. And if a neighbor or somebody driving down the highway sees the fire over in the field or the smoke coming up and they automatically call 911, they will not send us out unless you call back and need us. And that makes the roadway safer. We're not out running lights and sirens or a control burn, anything like that. So it takes away a lot of the danger. If you have any questions, you can call the fire department about doing a burn at 624-4774, and we can send somebody out, either us or a volunteer, and look at it and kind of guide you in what direction you need to go with it.
Thanks, Chief.
Thank you.
Appreciate that. Any other department heads? We had no public comment today. So moving on through the agenda, I need a motion and a second to pay the claims and approve the transfers. Roger?
So moved.
Do I have a second? John Tudor.
Second, Judge.
I have a motion and a second. Do we have any discussion? All right. Seeing none, call the roll, please.
Master Reynolds,
Yes.
Master Barger,
Yes.
Master Tudor,
Yes.
Master Botkin,
Yes.
Judge Taylor.
Yes. Our next meeting is March 23rd, 2021, 9:30. It'll be right back here on Zoom. Again, our next fiscal court meeting is March 23rd, 2021, right back here on Zoom at 9:30. I need a motion and a second to adjourn.
Motion.
Have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second, Judge.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Call the roll, please.
Master Barger,
23rd.
Master Tudor,
Yes.
Master Botkin,
Yes.
Master Reynolds,
Yes.
Judge Taylor.
Yes. Hey, thank you all very much. Our meeting is adjourned. I appreciate everybody more than you know. Everybody have a wonderful week. Until we meet again, God bless. Bye-bye.